"We need to talk." Jonathan nodded in agreement. I led him to one of the guest rooms, and I sat on the bed. "I'm glad you're okay." "I was so Jonathan started. "Don't," I harshly interrupted him. "Don't even act like you cared for 1 second, I spat. "What are you talking about?" "Of course I cared, and I still do care. You're my mate," Jonathan said. I chuckled dryly and rested my back against the headboard. "We aren't mates." "What?" Jonathan said, confused. "We are mates. Don't you remember? Don't you feel it?" Jonathan asked while walking towards me. I glared at him. "Yeah, I remember and I can feel it." Jonathan grinned, but it quickly disappeared when I continued. "I remember you rejecting me when I first saw you, and I felt you and that redhead the same day. And I felt it again today. I felt in control. My wolf didn't fight me for control. She understood my reasoning for being this way." "Anna," Jonathan said softly, "I swear it wasn't like that. Just let me explain," Jonathan pleaded. I got off the bed and shoved him away from me. My hand sparked, but I ignored it. "Flame, there is nothing to explain. You rejected me. You slept with that girl. You knew what does to me, yet you still did it," I shouted angrily. "I didn't sleep with Gabriella. You're just gonna lie to me now?" I shouted in disbelief. "I fucking felt it, Jonathan. Don't even try to lie to me, when I felt everything." I shoved his chest again. The burning came back. He stumbled back and hit the wall. I felt my anger fading away and being replaced with hurt. "I can't go through that again," I said while my voice was breaking. Jonathan looked at me with a broken expression. "I swear you won't go through anything like that." "I promise." I shook my head, not letting myself believe anything that came out of his mouth. "Please, Annabelle, just let me explain." I can't," I said quietly. I moved my gaze so that I was looking into his gray-blue eyes. His eyes were silently begging me to give him a chance. I took a deep breath. "I won't feel anything if I accept his rejection. I, Princess Annabelle Burke." "Don't, Anna." Jonathan grabbed my face in his hands, sending tingles through my whole head. It was burning, but it felt so good. Jonathan gasped, signaling that he felt it too. He caressed my cheeks with his thumbs, making the tingles stronger. Mia was stirring inside of me. It wasn't like anything I felt before. Suddenly, it was too much, and my brain shut down. Chapter 15. Jonathan's POV. After Anna wakes up, I knew I messed everything up when I snapped at Annabelle. It's just because I was trying to apologize, to get her to forgive me, to give us a shot. But she and her uncle had me on a timer. I walked out her room and into my guest room. She needed space. I grabbed my bag and walked to the front door. I almost ran into Thomas on the way out. He eyed my bag. "You going back?" Thomas asked. I nodded. "But she just woke up. She needs some space." "I'll be back in a few hours," I said while I walked past him. I shifted into my wolf and mind-linked Daniel, telling him that I was leaving. He was relieved that he could stop doing paperwork. I had to catch up on what was going on with the pack. I ran to my territory with my bag between my canines. I arrived at the pack house about 45 minutes later. I walked through the doors and breathed in the scents of my pack members. I smelt Daniel, my parents, Gabriella, and a few others. Daniel walked to the front door to greet me. We shook hands and hugged. "Go ahead, call me a girl." But he's my best friend, and I haven't seen him in over 2 weeks. I let go of Daniel, just to be jumped on. Gabriella's scent created a bubble around me. She wrapped her legs around my waist and crossed her ankles over each other behind my back. She grabbed my face in her hands and pressed her lips to mine. I grabbed her thighs to hold her up while we kissed. Someone clearing their throat interrupted us. We pulled away to see Daniel with his arms crossed, and he was glaring at me. Gabriella jumped off me and ran her hand down my chest and laced her fingers with mine. "Give us a minute," Daniel demanded Gabriella. "Well, that's rude." She nodded and pecked my cheek before leaving. "What the hell is your problem?" I asked my beta. Daniel growled. "Are you kidding me?" I shot him a look and he rubbed his face. "You are so stupid." I growled and glared at him. "You really don't know what you did wrong?" I shook my head. "I was just kissing Gabriella." "What the hell is wrong with that?" I asked. Daniel sighed and rubbed his temple. "You have a mate. Shit." I cursed. I forgot about Anna. Things with Gabriella are just habits. Could I get any more stupid? How the hell did I forget about my mate? She'll really gonna kill me. You should hope that she doesn't find out, Daniel said. She won't find out. Unless you're gonna tell her? I stated. Daniel shook his head. All right then. Let's get some work done. Gabriella left when me and Daniel started working. Daniel didn't tell her that I met my mate, or where I was this whole time, which I was grateful for. I haven't figured out how to tell her that she can't be Luna. I already hurt Anna, and I need to patch that up. I know that Gabriella doesn't have anyone. I'm the only one that actually talks to her. I don't want to hurt her and leave her with no one. You should head back, Daniel suggested when we finished the paperwork. I nodded in agreement. You're gonna be good here, right? I've been fine these past 2 weeks. Another week or so won't hurt, Daniel assured me. Go get your mate. I grinned at my best friend and went to my room. I put clean clothes in my bag and headed to the castle. It was about 4 o'clock when I got to the castle. I shifted back into my human form and swung my bag over my shoulder. I made my way to the front door, but 2 men blocked my way. Who are you? The taller man asked. I'm Annabelle's mate, I stated proudly. The men looked at each other and back at me. I have to contact Alpha Elliot, the tall man told me. I nodded and impatiently tapped my foot while he mind-linked Elliot. After about 5 minutes, I was ready to snap. Can I just go in? I've been here all week, and I just want to see my mates, I begged. It hasn't been confirmed that you are telling the truth. We can't let you in, the shorter man said. I growled and pushed past the men. I ran into the castle, and the men chased after me. Annabelle. I called for my mate while running through the halls. Annabelle, I shouted. I got to her hospital room and pulled open the door. Annabelle stood in front of me. Her eyes were red and puffy. She had dark bags under her gray-blue orbs. She was most likely crying. I wanted to comfort her. Max was whimpering in my head as I was pulled from behind. Let go of me. She's my mate. I struggled in the guard's hands. Anna, tell this guy to let go of me, I said. Good evening, princess, the guard greeted my mate. Do you know this young man? Yes, this is Alpha Jonathan of the Sunset Guardian Pack, Anna calmly explained. The man let go of me and excused himself. I awkwardly scratched my head, knowing that I was just weak in front of my mate. We need to talk, Anna stated. I nodded and followed her into one of the guest rooms. She sat on the bed and I stood a few feet away from the bed. I'm glad you're okay. I was so Don't, Anna hissed. Don't even act like you cared for 1 second. What are you talking about? Of course I cared, and I still do care. You're my mate, I said confused. Anna moved against the headboard. We aren't mates. What? Did she lose her memory or something? Can comas affect your memory? We are mates. Don't you remember? Don't you feel it? I took a step towards her. I stopped moving when she looked at me. Her eyes were filled with an unreadable emotion. Yeah, I remember, and I can feel it. I smiled, knowing that she remembers me. I remember you rejecting me when I first saw you, and I felt you and that redhead the same day. And I felt it again today. The smile was immediately wiped off of my face. My stomach was filled with guilt. I forgot that she feels it, but it was a mistake. It was like reflex. I didn't even see Gabriella before I left. I didn't want to repeat what happened. Anna, I swear it wasn't like that. Just let me explain, I begged her. She got up and shoved me away from the bed. It felt like her hands were on fire, but for some reason, it felt good. Shame, there is nothing to explain. You rejected me. You slept with that girl. You know what it does to me, yet you still did it. I didn't sleep with Gabriella, I assured her softly. I knew that her wolf was probably increasing her anger for me. Her eyes held such distaste. You're just gonna lie to me now? Anna shouted. I fucking felt it, Jonathan. Don't even try to lie to me, when I felt everything. She shoved me with strength I didn't know she had. I stumbled back and hit the wall. Her voice broke while she spoke. I can't go through that again. Max was pissed at me knowing that I made my mate hurt. He shouted in my head until I blocked him out. What Anna said registered in my mind. She won't let herself be hurt anymore. She's going to accept my rejection. But I want to take back the rejection. I want to accept her as my mate, as my Luna. I swear you won't go through anything like that. I promise. Please, Annabelle, just let me explain, I pleaded. She can't accept the rejection. I screwed up big time and a lot. What happened with Gabriella was a huge mistake. I didn't plan on kissing her. It was an automatic response. I have always had Gabriella to make me forget about things. She made me forget about my mate, even when I didn't want to. I can't, she said, her voice at a whisper. She looked up into my eyes. I silently begged her not to do it, but she opened her mouth again. I, Princess Annabelle Burke. My heart dropped and I rushed forward. Don't, Anna, I shouted. I grabbed her face so she couldn't speak. When I touched her, my skin was on fire. It was an addictive feeling. I found myself rubbing her face with my thumbs just to feel it again. Then she became limp. Her body slumped, but I caught her before she fell to the floor. Help! I shouted as I scooped my mate into my arms. Somebody help! I ran out of the guest room and into her hospital room. Alyssa was sitting on the chair when I walked in. I set Anna on the bed and Alyssa got up. She didn't say anything to me as she checked on my mate. Is she okay? I asked. Alyssa growled at me. Leave, she ordered. Her eyes were golden. Why is she so angry? Alyssa? I think you should calm down, I said softly. Suddenly, Alyssa was in front of me. With her strength from her baby, she shoved me. I hit the wall and groaned. Get the fuck out, she sneered. I got up and rubbed my head before stepping towards Alyssa. My mate just passed out. I'm not leaving, I said calmly. She growled and opened her mouth to speak. But the door swung open. Alpha Elliot, Anna's uncle, and Thomas came in. The three men didn't look at me as they walked to Anna's bedside. How did this happen? Elliot asked Alyssa. She turned to me with her arms crossed. Ask her mate. She spit out the words in disgust and hatred. 3 growls echoed in the room. All eyes were on me, and all of them were flashing golden or darkening. The men got up and nodded at each other. Then I was pinned to the wall with Thomas and Keith holding me down on both sides. Alyssa was checking on Anna, while Elliot approached me slowly. What are you doing? I shouted my mate's family. They all growled, making me shut up. You will leave now. I never want to smell your scent anywhere near the castle or my niece, Elliot said calmly. I thrashed against Thomas and Keith. I'm not leaving. You can't keep me away from her. I'm her mate, I yelled. You rejected her, Elliot growled. Don't you dare call her your mate. I love her, I shouted. What did you just say? Thomas asked while him and Keith released my arms. My body slumped forward as I looked at them. I love her, I said softly. Please, don't make me leave, I begged on the verge of tears. The thought of never seeing Anna crushed my soul. I fucked up, a lot, but I couldn't deny the feelings I got when I saw her. I couldn't just let go of the bond that our wolves have rebuilt while she was in a coma. Anna might want me on a different planet, but I would never stop trying to be right next to her. I can. Elliot. Alyssa cut off her mate. We all looked and saw that she was clutching her stomach. The baby's coming. Chapter 16. Elliot's POV. The baby's coming, Alyssa yelled. I quickly rushed to her side and helped her stand. Alyssa is in labors. I mind-linked the doctor. I'll be there as soon as I can, he responded. Come on. The doctor's on his way? I started walking, but paused at the door. Keith, take Alyssa to a room. I'll stay here with Anna. You are not leaving me. Alyssa growled and pulled me to the door. I'll stay with Anna, Jonathan offered. Really? Does he think that we actually would trust him after knowing the full story? Scoffed. I'm not leaving you alone with her. I turned to Thomas. Stay with Anna and him? Thomas nodded. Me and Keith helped Alyssa walk to another room. We laid her on the bed and I held her hand as Keith walked out. Our pup is coming, my wolf shouted excitedly. Alyssa screamed and grabbed my arm. She squeezed my arm and started panting. Breathe, Alyssa, I said softly. She growled. Don't tell me what to do. Her eyes flashed golden and she clutched my arm tighter. Hurry. Her wolf is trying to take overs. I told the doctor. Calm her down. The baby can't come out if she shifts. I lightly kissed Alyssa's forehead. The doctor is almost here, I said. Tell him to hurry up. I want this kid out of me. She growled. I know, babe. I kissed her temple and wiped away her sweat. She leaned into my touch and purred. The doctor rushed in and quickly put on gloves. Let's get started. Alpha, can you take off her pants and underwear? I nodded and took off Alyssa's clothes. The doctor asked Alyssa to lift her, bend her legs. He sat at the foot of the bed in front of her. I had to fight my wolf when he lifted up the blanket. That's our mate, he growled. He's the doctor. He's just doing his job, I told him. I took deep breaths to calm my wolf. I see the head, the doctor announced. My wolf was no longer angry or jealous. He was joyful and happy. I need you to push, Alyssa. Don't tell me what to do, she roared. Deep breaths. Just push and calm down. You can't shift right now. I told my mate through our mind link. I'll shift if I want to, she shouted. Her eyes flashed gold. I saw the doctor pull a syringe out of his pocket and I growled. Liquid wolfsbane. It won't hurt her. Just keep her wool from taking overs, the doctor explained. I nodded and held down Alyssa's arm. He injected the liquid into her vein and went back to the edge of the bed. Push, the doctor demanded. Alyssa screamed as she pushed and squeezed my arm. Good job. Keep pushing. Alyssa pushed and bit her lip to keep in a scream. You're doing great. One more big push. Alyssa screamed as she pushed with all her might. The sound of baby crying filled my ears. Werewolf births only take less than an hour since our bodies function faster than a human's. Alyssa's grip on me relaxed and she took deep breaths. I heard a light snip as the doctor cut the cord. He quickly cleaned the baby faster than the flash. Congratulations. It's a girl. The doctor wrapped the beautiful baby in a blanket and handed her to Alyssa. Thank you, doctor, I said and nodded my head at the man. Congratulations, Alpha and Luna. The doctor walked out the room, leaving me with my little family. The baby stopped crying and opened her eyes. She has your eyes, I whispered to Alyssa. She's beautiful, Alyssa said in between pants. She kissed the baby's head. Little Claire, she said. I kissed my daughter's head. Welcome to the family, Claire, I whispered. We decided to name our baby girl after the queen a few weeks ago. Here, Alyssa handed me my daughter. I carefully held Claire and rocked her back and forth. I'm exhausted, Alyssa sighed. I kissed her forehead. It's blessed. I'll bring the crib in here. Alyssa nodded and drifted asleep. Tell someone to bring the crib into Alyssa's room, please, I told Thomas. Congratulations. Anna's awake, by the ways. Thank you. I'll be there soon. A guard came in with the crib and put it against the wall. After saying a quick congrats, the guard stood to the side. I told him to stay in the room for protection. I gently placed my sleeping daughter in the crib and kissed her head before walking to my mate's side. She was already fast asleep. Knowing that she's a light sleeper, I quietly slipped out of the room. I went into Anna's room and saw her sitting up against the headboard. Jonathan was sitting on the floor, Thomas was in the chair next to Anna, and Keith was leaning against the wall. Hey, Anna greeted me. How's Alyssa? She's resting, I informed her. The baby? She asked. I smiled. Anna just woke up from fainting, and she's worried about Alyssa and our baby. She is beautiful. Has the same eyes as her mom? What's her name? Thomas asked. Anna smiled at me and answered. Claire, how did you know? I questioned. Alyssa told me when I was in a coma, she stated while beaming at me. Wait, Jonathan stood up. You could hear us, she inquired. Anna shrugged. Sometimes. Did you hear me? Jonathan asked hopeful. Anna shook her head and looked confused. What happened before you passed out? I changed the subject. I needed to know how to torture Jonathan for later on. I touched her, Jonathan answered. You did what? Heath and I started stalking towards Jonathan. Annabelle, you did what? You did what? Elliot shouted. Him and my uncle slowly walked towards Jonathan. Why on earth did he say it like that? Stop! I shouted before they heard him. He didn't touch me. He just grabbed my face. And I felt the mate thingy, I tried explaining. Heath and Elliot nodded in understanding. Mate thingy? Thomas asked confused. It's a feeling you get when you touch your mate. It's like tiny prickling, Keith explained. Thomas tilted his head, looking like a lost puppy. So how did you faint? She inquired. I guess it was too much, I answered. Can I talk to Anna? Jonathan asked. Elliot growled at him, but Keith pushed Elliot towards the door. Keith sent me a wink. Of course. Let's go see Claire. Elliot and Keith walked out the door. Since when is Keith on his side? For what do you want? I asked Jonathan. He cleared his throat and looked at Thomas. Can you just give us a few minutes? Please? He requested. Thomas stared at Jonathan, scrutinizing him. After a while, Thomas nodded and turned to me. Give him a chance, he said through the mind link. He hurt me, I argued. Just hear him out. Thomas blocked me out, restricting me from saying anything else. He nodded at Jonathan and left the room. I swear, these guys are so indecisive. First, they love him because he stayed here. Then they hate him after finding out what happened when we met. Now they're back to suggesting I should give him a chance. The least I could do is listen, then cut him out of my life. Talk, I demanded. Where should I start? He asked. Why would you still sleep with Gabriella when you know what it does to me? I asked softly. I was already weak. I was in a coma from that. Why would you do that? I hated how broken I sounded, but I needed to know. I should be strong. I'm supposed to be queen. I didn't sleep with Gabriella, Jonathan said. I raised an eyebrow. I mean, I did sleep with her, but that was before you went into the coma. It was before you left, he explained. But it was after you rejected me? I asked. Jonathan nodded. It was a stupid move. I know. I just couldn't get you out of my head, so... So you got laid, I stated bluntly. Jonathan shook his head. We had sex, but it's not like I did it to intentionally hurt you. I didn't know this would happen. Well, it did happen. And it hurt like hell, I said bitterly. Jonathan walked forward until he was next to my bed. I know, he said quietly. Are you sure? I asked while looking up at him. 'Cause you seem to be forgetting the part where I was in a coma. I almost died because of this, I shouted. I know, Jonathan shouted angrily. I moved my gaze down and started playing with my blanket. I could never forget about what happened. I was here the whole time. I watched you while you were in pain. It hurt me too. I couldn't help you. All I could do was watch. I hate myself because of it. I didn't know what to say, so I stayed quiet. I just want to make it right. Let me fix this, he begged. I felt the tingles as he lifted my chin up to look at him. Let me fix us. I frowned and moved his hand off my face. I can't go through the pain again. I really won't survive. Jonathan shook his head. You don't have to go through that ever again. I promise. Just give me a chance, he whispered. Thomas's words rang in my head. Give him a chance. Somehow, Jonathan has my best friend on his side, and I know for a fact that Thomas wouldn't approve of him unless he had a good reason. But Jonah is? Well, he's an ass. Mia, any advice? I asked my wolf. He's our mate. We should be with him. That's how it's supposed to be, she stated. But if he hurts us, I'm ripping that redhead limb by limb, she responded. Well, she's violent, but I'm not against her on that. So? Jonathan asked, looking nervous. One chance. As soon as the words left my mouth, Jonathan kissed me. There were tingles covering my lips. He placed his hands on my waist, making the burning sensation erupt. His lips were soft on mine. The kiss was slow and gentle. I wrapped my arms around his neck and pulled him closer. He pulled away and leaned his forehead against mine. 108. We should stop, he said breathlessly. I nodded and he pecked my lips before taking a step back. Fucking mate bond. I hate how the bond makes mates be all over each other. It's quite disturbing at times. Like now, for example. I still don't forgive you. Yet, I stated stubbornly. Jonathan, face? I still don't forgive you yet, Anna stated. I grinned at my mate. Her lips were red and swollen from the kiss. Work of yours truly. I didn't expect you to. I like a challenge? Anna's cheeks turned red and she tried hiding behind her hair. I stepped closer and pushed her hair out of her face. Her blush got deeper and I chuckled. You're cute when you blush. Thanks, she said and got redder. I laughed and dropped my hand. So what now? She asked while pushing her hair behind her ear. Want to go for a walk? I asked. I haven't seen much of the territory. Anna nodded in agreement. Sure, just let me change. I nodded and helped her stand up. The fiery feeling burst when I grabbed her hand. I'll meet you out front. Anna nodded and I reluctantly let go of her. I watched her walk out the room and down the hall. Where's she going? Thomas asked from behind me. We're going for a walk, I stated. She's giving you a chance? I smiled. Yeah, I don't know what you said to her, but I know that you said something. So, thanks. I stuck my hand out for him to shake. If you hurt her, I won't hurt her, I assured him. Never again. And if I ever do, you have permission to beat the crap out of me, I promised. I'll remember you said that, Thomas said, and walked off. I chuckled and went to the front of the castle. I walked through the front door and saw a familiar guard standing at the stairs. He's the one that chased after me. Are you leaving now, Alpha? The guard asked. I'm staying here for a while, but Annabelle and I will be going for a walk, I informed him. I'm assuming it will just be you two? I nodded. This goes without saying, but it is getting dark out, and she is a target. Please keep Princess Annabelle safe, he said. Being a princess is dangerous. I nodded at the man. Of course, I said with a smile. The door opened and Anna walked out. She was wearing ripped jeans, a white shirt, a black leather jacket, and a light gray beanie. Hello, Scott, my mate greeted the guard. Scott bowed his head. Good evening, Princess. Anna surprised me by interlacing our fingers. The tingles started and I smiled at our joined hands. Ready? I asked. Anna nodded and we walked away from the castle. She led us into the woods. There wasn't a path, but it looked like she knew where we were. We walked in silence for about 20 minutes. Where are we going? I asked curiously. You'll see, she stated. I chuckled. Isn't it supposed to be me who surprises you? I questioned. Anna shrugged. We're almost there. I nodded and followed her for about 10 more minutes. We got to a log cabin. It was 2 stories, with a balcony on the 2nd floor. Windows covered majority of the house, and the wood was a dark brown color. Come on! Anna gently squeezed my hand and pulled me towards the house. We got to the front door and put a code in the keypad with her free hand. Fancy. We walked into the house and Anna turned on the lights. It was very spacious. There was very little furniture. It didn't look like anyone lived here. What is this place? I asked. This is where my parents were gonna live after I took the throne, she explained. I gave her a small smile and squeezed her hand. We need to talk about that, she said softly. About what? I asked. About her parents? Or about where we're gonna live? The throne. Anna let go of my hand and walked further into the house. We reached a small living room and we both sat on the couch. I was the heir to the throne. Now, I'm gonna be queen, she informed me. So she has to rule the werewolves? What does this have to do with me? I asked, confused. Anna giggled. It was the best sound I've heard all week. I can't rule all the weres on my own. You're my mate. I know that you have a pack. But you're supposed to be king, she explained. King? I was trained to be an alpha, but not a king. I'm not fit to rule the entire race of werewolves. Anna grabbed my hand and gave it a gentle squeeze. You don't have to decide anything yet. I just thought that you deserved to know before we get to deep in us. I just nodded in response. You're acting like a girl, Max scolded me. Well, my wolf is an asshole. I quickly blocked him out. So, what are we doing here? I changed the subject and gestured around the house. My parents left some of their stuff here. I wanted to look for something, she said. She seems to not mind talking about her parents. I shrugged it off and asked, what is it? It's a locket. Alyssa said that Mom was going to give it to me when I found my mate, she said softly. I lifted her hand up and pressed a light kiss on it. Come on, I'll help find it. I pulled her off the couch and we started our search. Chapter 17. Annabelle's POV. I give up, I exclaimed while plopping down on my parents' bed. We've been looking for over an hour for a necklace and I don't even know what it looks like. I felt the mattress dip and my mate's scent surrounded me. Come on. Jonathan gently tugged on my arm. I groaned and buried my head into the pillow. Fine. You stay here. I'll finish looking, he decided. I nodded in agreement and sat against the headboard. Jonathan got up and started looking through some drawers. I pulled my knees up to my chest and rested my head on top. I need to find this necklace. I found my mate, and my mom is supposed to give it to me. I wish she was here to give it to me. It's the last gift that she got me. The last gift I will ever get from her. Anna? Jonathan said, snapping me out of my thoughts. I mumbled sleepily. Jonathan chuckled. I think I found it. I quickly looked up, and my neck cracked. I groaned, and Jonathan laughed at me. I pouted. Here. He handed me a long black box and began rubbing my neck. I leaned into his touch and fiddled with the box. Did you open it? I asked my mate. Nope. It's yours, he answered immediately. I honestly thought he would snoop and look at it before giving it to me. I nodded and slowly opened the box. It was beautiful. The locket was around a silver chain, but it wasn't actually silver. The locket itself was also a silver color. It was round with flowery designs circling around a moon. I carefully lifted it up by the chain. It twirled around to reveal the back of the locket. A wolf's heart? I read aloud and started tearing up. I had a flash of my parents' bodies, and it caused me to let out a blood-curdling scream. Blood everywhere. My father's head was nowhere near his body. His arm was ripped off. My mother didn't have either arms. And their hearts. There were holes in the middle of their chests. The hearts were thrown carelessly on the floor. They didn't deserve to die like that. They didn't deserve to die at all. They were great rulers, amazing parents, amazing people. Why would someone kill them? Anna, Jonathan screamed. I blinked back the image and noticed that my mate was standing in front of me. A. Jonathan. There was B blood, I stuttered. T. Their H hearts were. I cut myself off with a loud sob. Shh. Jonathan cooed softly in my ear. He wrapped his arms around me and his warmth enveloped me like a blanket. Please stop crying. I felt wetness on my back. I pulled away and looked at my mate. His eyes were red, and there was a single tear stake going down his cheek. I'm sorry, I choked out. He pulled me back into his gentle embrace. Why are you sorry? He whispered after I calmed down. I'm a mess, I started. My parents just died. I went into a coma. I have to be queen of all werewolves. I have to take care of my 6-year-old brother. So? Jonathan asked, completely confused. I sighed and pulled away from my mate. I took a few minutes to calm myself before explaining. It's a lot of baggage. Having a mate like me, it's a lot of stress. A lot of patience. A lot of responsibility. I can't do that to you, I told him honestly. You already have a pack to take care of. You don't need me and my problems, I said sadly, and looked at my fiddling hands. Jonathan gently lifted up my chin and looked into my eyes. I don't care. You are my mate. I would do anything for you because that's what mates do. I fucked up, but I swear I'm here to stay now. I knew what I was getting into. I want this. I want you. I need you. He pressed a soft, lingering kiss on my forehead. Any problems that you have are mine too? That doesn't seem fair. He doesn't need more on his plate. He's an alpha, that's enough problems. Then he has to add being the future king. He doesn't exactly need my problems added on top of that, even if he did put me through a lot. I don't like the thought of him feeling obligated to do whatever I want because of the rejection. But? No buts. I'm not going anywhere. Jonathan cut me off. I wrapped my arms around his waist and buried my head in his chest. Promise? I asked softly. It might sound childish, but I just needed the assurance. I promise. Chapter 18. Jonathan's POV. After Anna's breakdown, I held her on the bed for almost an hour. It was calming, having my mate in my arms, knowing that she was safe. It made me feel at ease. Can you help me put it on? Anna asked and held up her locket. I gently took the necklace and pushed her hair to the right side of her neck. I clasped the necklace and kissed her shoulder. She shivered and I smirked against her skin. You know, kiss. Kiss. Really? Kiss. Want to? Kiss. Mark you? I parted my